Today I'm going to be talking about 3 different nutrition strategies, the pros and cons of each. And while you're listening to this video, what I want you to do is I want you to think about where you are in your particular journey based off of these 3 choices and where you think you should be if it's in a different place that you are now, okay? And that'll all make sense when we're done with this, okay? The 3 nutrition strategies are number 1, calories and protein, number 2, macros, and number 3, clean eating or a meal plan, okay? So number 1 is typically where I have people begin. If you're in the macro success group, what we want to start doing is having you identify what you're eating, how much you're eating. That's where we start everybody, okay? So calories are king. They are the most important data to understand and to know about yourself. How much are you eating, okay? If we don't know how much you're eating, how can we make any changes, right? So that's our starting point. We have to figure out how many calories you're eating, and we need to make sure that you're getting enough protein, okay? Number 1 macronutrient is protein. So that's where we start, everybody. Now, if you're doing calories and protein now, and you're having good success, and you're not ready to move on to something different, you don't want to do anything different, you don't have to. You don't have to. If you are getting success on a calories and protein protocol and you feel good there, stay there. You can stay there for the entire duration of your journey and just clean up that particular protocol piece by piece and do great. Okay, so that's calories and protein. Let me make sure I have all the information that I wanted to share on that. Okay. A lot of times when we're talking about calories and protein and you have someone who is just beginning, they're not thinking about nutrients, okay? So they're eating pretty much whatever. This is someone who is just coming, from eating whatever they want, a standard American diet, and just trying to figure out how much and what they're doing. So they could be eating, out at McDonald's for breakfast. They could be eating just whatever the office gets for lunch. This is about beginning awareness. Someone who is more advanced with the calories and protein protocol could be someone who really understands how many calories they're supposed to get every day. They have certain habits in place. They know how much protein they need each day, and they're eating a very nutritious diet. Okay? Someone who's eating, salads and chicken or fish and steamed vegetables. You can do that on a calories and protein protocol and do excellent. Okay? So that's the the variance there with the calories and protein choice. Okay? So number 2 is macros, macro counting. A lot of people in this group are doing macro counting, right? So with a customized macro plan, you have your calorie count, you have a protein number that's a goal, a carb goal, and a fat goal. Yes? And these are all set for each of you in both of these programs, okay? If you need a customized macro plan, reach out to me. If you think you need a change in your macro plan, reach out to me, okay? So proteins, fats, and carbs. Now, when macros was first begun, it was pushed as a way to eat whatever you want and get results. So all the bodybuilders who are on meal plans eating chicken and Brussels sprouts 6 times a day, we're like, woohoo, we can eat pizza and that's actually a carb. And we can eat, beef jerky and that's a protein. And we could do whatever we want now. A ribeye can count as a protein even though it's super high in fat. We can do whatever we want, and as long as it meets your macros, you're good. That's kind of like whatever you do at the gym is gonna get you results. So if you think about that, if someone is sitting on the recumbent bike and they're like, just pedaling away, and then you have the guy at the squat rack who's doing max weights for squats, are they getting the same benefit because they're both working out and they're both in the gym? No, okay? The same is true for macros. So, a carb is a carb is a carb. Yes. Is a donut the same as Brussels sprouts? Duh, no. That's just like the person on the bike being the same as the guy on the squat rack. Not the same. So yes, the carbs are the same. Yes, both of those people are exercising in a gym, but their results are going to be a lot different because of the activity that they are choosing and the intensity that they're going at, right? So when you look at your macro plan, do you want to eat whatever you want? Yes, you can. However, if you eat more nutritious foods, i.e. exercise or go faster than the lady on the bike or the guy on the bike going slow, right? Then you'll get more bang for your buck. So what we typically do in a macro plan is we get somebody who is going a bit more specific in their nutrition protocol. So they're doing calories now and they have their protein down. Now let's see how we do with your carbs and fats and see if you can track your food a little better. See if you can be a bit more precise, right? And really try to balance out these three main macronutrients. And the goal with running a macro plan is for everyone that runs it to get more solid in your understanding of your habits and to eat better, eat more nutritious food, to go from the bike toward the squat rack, not to go from the bike to the squat rack, right? But you want to come off that bike, maybe try a couple dumbbells, try working a bit harder. That is the idea behind macros, okay? Now, can you eat whatever you want and meet your macros and get success? For a short period of time you can, but that will fail you quickly. That protocol is not going to keep working for more than a few months max. That's just the truth. And so once we start doing these macros, we want to start evolving into tightening up our nutrition and eating more nutritious foods. That is the goal of macro plans across the board. Most people just stop with the calories, protein, fat, and carbs. I eat whatever I want. I do whatever I want. And you can. As long as you're getting results with any of these things, have at it, and that's fine. We all have a certain point where we want to stop and we want to say, I don't want to do any more. More than what I'm doing is just too much for me, or it takes the joy out of my life. There's a stopping point for all of us, myself included. Okay. The third protocol is the clean eating or meal plan protocol. Now, when I say clean eating, what I mean is eating foods that are as nutrient dense as possible and making that a priority. This is the top tier of nutrition protocol and the most elite way of running your nutrition program. Okay, so we start with someone with calories and protein. Then we evolve to doing macros, getting a little tighter in what we want to do. We get more and more and more results, right? Now remember what I said about calories and protein. If you take that and just start eating super nutrient dense foods, then you may skip right over the macro thing and not do protein, fat, and carbs of tracking. That's totally fine. But the goal eventually is to come to this place where we're eating highly nutrient dense foods. The beautiful thing about it is they end up being very calorie poor as well. Foods like zucchini, mushrooms, cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, cruciferous vegetables, things like squash, beans become carbs, things like that, okay? And if you want to go straight to clean eating, the best way to do that is with some sort of meal plan. And so what's great about the Macro Success Group is you get that meal plan. That's why I incorporated that into that program. You have clean eating there. So you're checking so many boxes, either as a beginner, intermediate, or advanced. It covers everything for everybody. The gals in the coaching group, they've already been through this in an organic fashion. We've been sharing recipes recipes for this last year. They have been figuring out how to track recipes in MyFitnessPal, and they have all of their habits pretty much figured out through the months and last year of doing macros and cleaning up their diet in a natural, organic way. So these are the 3 different ways of eating and the different diet protocols. I mean diet as in how you eat, not diet as in something deprivation-wise or whatever, okay? And so this is where you want to kind of figure out where you're at. Look at these 3 different protocols. Which one appeals to you? Which one do you think maybe you could transition or dip your toe in the water of next year when the new year starts, right? And then, to do a process of self-discovery. Think about what you're doing, where your habits are, how can you do a little bit better? The better we get at these things, if it's sustainable, the greater the results come. Now, what I'll tell you with myself personally to finish this up is I started with calories and protein. Okay. I moved on to macros. That was 2014. Hated it. Really kind of went back to calories and protein because counting full macros was overwhelming for me. And then kind of went back to macros and then found my way in that, and I enjoyed it. But my favorite way to eating is pretty much meal plan. That's really because I can eat the same thing day in and day out over and over and over again and not care really about too much variability. I do like trying new recipes, and that's why I loved starting the new recipe group, because I wanted to kind of break out of my, doing the same thing day after day after day. But you understand that is a protocol specifically for me, because I don't do moderation well. You all know that, I'm in recovery. And so I am programmed to do all or nothing. That is what is best for me personally, with my personality and with my addictive, side that I have. And so I have girls in my coaching group who do moderation great. They can eat all different foods, all different times, all the time. Lucky ducks. And count the macros on it and have it meet their macros, and they do awesome and have great results. I have clients in there that eat pizza, that drink beer, that eat sweets. I unfortunately don't do so well with that type of protocol, even though I'm super advanced with my nutrition. Do you see? So it's not about how smart are you or how disciplined are you. It's more about your personality, what works for you. Sometimes some of us like to do things super boring and strict because that's what works for me. Other people do great with having more flexibility because they still stay on plan and they can work in that flexibility and still do quite well. Make sense? Okay, so I hope this video helped you. Think about it for yourself. Notice your habits over the rest of this year and how these different protocols work for you, don't work for you, and where you want to set yourself up for the most success come the new year. Hope to see you tonight on the Zoom for Macro Success, and I'll talk to you later. Have a great week.